Ladies and gentlemen, it is of course the Steam Exploration Sale. It is Friday the 28th, also known of course as Black Friday. And we're going to be going through all of the deals available on the page. So we're going to start with the featured deals as well as mosey on down to the ones that last only a day. I have to say that considering it is Black Friday, it's not quite up to the level of standard that I expected. I honestly was thinking there was going to be a bit more than what there was. But it's not bad deals or anything like that. But anyway, we are going to begin. So I'm going to start with Gary's mod. No real reason other than it's just happened to be at the top on my particular reload. It's going to be £149, or if you're paying in dollars, $2.49. I don't think there's much to actually say about Gary's mod, really, is it? I mean, it is of course the creative engine of the gaming world, and of course you've got Minecraft and so on as well, but Gary's mod is the other really kind of open world, pretty much do whatever you want, screw around with physics and so forth. I'll be honest, this is one of those titles where I can see the appeal, but I'm not really into it. But for those who really love this type of stuff, you know, why not? To be totally blunt, I mean, I'd suggest personally give it a shot if you're, you know, looking for a game to kill a couple of hours. It is one of those titles where it's not structured, and I'm sure many of you know this already, but I'm just saying if you're new to PC gaming, it's not structured story. It's a little bit like Minecraft in that respect, in that it's going to be really what you make of it. But for the most part, I would recommend checking it out. It, of course, is going to score highly. It doesn't really require a good machine to run, so it's great if you're just trying to run it on like a low power device also. Not really much else to say about it. Anyway, what we will be discussing, however, is Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition on the PC. So this is available for $4.99. That's dollars and pounds. He says he flails and looks. It's $4.99. So us Brits get a little bit screwed on this one. I want to discuss this one for a moment for a couple of reasons. Now, I did do a first impressions on this, and I'll be honest, I played really awfully, so you probably won't want to check it out. Well, you might want if you just want awful gameplay. But it does give you an idea of what the title looks like if you don't basically patch it. Now, there are a couple of patches on this game, and this is one of those games where users have basically fixed the major issues. One of them was the internal rendered resolution, and the second is actually more to do with the controller. Basically, the controller prompts were really crap, and it didn't really work too well with mouse and keyboard. You could patch all of that. The game itself is solid, and is better than the console iterations. It runs faster, it's smoother. It is basically a PC game that we would expect, but it needs to be patched. Now, Dark Souls 2, as it turns out, doesn't suffer from most of those problems. The developers, who are Japanese, they admitted freely that, you know what, we don't really have that much practice developing from software. Those are the developers, just to reiterate. There is quite a lot of content on Prepare to Die edition. There is a lot of PvP stuff, new enemies and so on. This is also an extremely punishing game. I'm pointing that out because if you're a person who wants to just go in, play the game, enjoy it, no, just don't get the game. You're gonna get pissed off. I'm serious. On the other hand, if you're someone who wants to put time in and you want like a truly immersive experience, check it out. Anyway, what is next? I'm doing this in a completely random order, but we're going to start with Endless Legend for no other reason than it just looks shiny on the logo. So there's a couple of ways you could experience this one. There's an Emperor pack, there's a Classic pack, there's an Amplitude Endless pack as well, where you get tons of the Endless titles, for example Endless Space and so on and so on. But we're going to be primarily focused on Endless Legend. The Classic pack is $13.49 if you are paying in Great British Pounds. If you're paying in dollars, you're not paying a bad price at $17.49. So what is Endless Legend? It's basically a turn-based game. It works on very much the turn-based standard system. If you've played Endless Space, if you've played those type of games, it's very similar. It's not exactly a grid type of system, but it's not fast-paced in terms of, say, StarCraft, but it has a really robust economy, it has a really robust build system, and for the most part, is really cool. It scores very well both on Metacritic, and it scores very well from user reviews. I haven't really played Endless Legends much. I have touched it, but I haven't played it much. I can tell you, however, that I have touched Endless Space, and it's really good. So it's a quality title. If you're interested in like a turn-based strategy, if you're interested in a strategy game where you put more thought into it rather than just kind of jump in and pew everything, this could be a good option. There's actually been quite a decent smattering of strategy titles the last few days. Anyway, next one. No real reason other than we're just going to be going for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. $19.99 if you're paying in dollars. Us Brits actually get a really sodding good deal on this one. I just want to make sure that they're applying. Yeah, they are. I'm really surprised. Okay, for a second I think they were applying the discount properly to the US store. We're actually getting it for $9.99, so us Brits actually get it for a really good price. Obviously, you do get the exchange rate, but even so, bloody hell. Okay. Anyway, I will be honest, Unity is pretty decent as a game in theory, but in practice, the patch is shit that's been released. It's not fixing the frame rate on the consoles, it's just not. And the PC version, God help you. Now, that's Unity. Black Flag runs beautifully. I've done a lot of coverage on the PC version with physics, hardware physics enabled, not hardware physics versus the consoles, and I've got to say, it plays really wonderfully on all systems. From someone who's semi-interested in the Assassin's Creed franchise, I really like the whole open world nature, the pirate element, the ability to sail the seven seas and plunder them. Plunder me heart is plunder, that's what I say. Anyway, I would recommend Black Flag. It's a good price. Arguably, it may go down a little more for Christmas, but it might not. And if you're interested in the title, especially for us Brits, $9.99, come on now. Anyway, next one, Europa. Now, this one is, well, pretty decent price, $9.99, and for pounds, he says, flailing as he looks. No, that's the wrong bloody tab, because I've got so many of them open. Where is it? There we go. $8.74, so once again, us Brits, not an amazing deal, but not terrible, as it turns out. Europa is yet another strategy type of title, and it scores extremely well. I can honestly say that I've not really played it. From the research I've done, and from looking at the community, overwhelmingly it's positive. If you're interested in strategies, if you're interested in that type of thing, you should go for it. Now, obviously, if you're interested in laser units, if you're a fan of, you know, really amazing animations, that type of thing, you're probably not going to be happy. But if you're interested in the idea of like an economy and kind of a more oldie worldy type of naval battles and everything else, then this is definitely to go for. Primarily, of course, well, given with the title, fixed in or focused on Europe. But it looks kind of cool. So it's empire building, basically. It's not really an RTS in that respect. It's more that you are building an empire, expanding the empire, and crushing and smiting all of those who happen to oppose you. Next, I can honestly say that I've not tried this one myself, and it's early access, and that's next car game, Wreckfest, which is an odd name. Gotta say, graphically, it looks pretty impressive. It's not amazing, but, you know, not bad. $14.99 if you're paying in dollars. For us Brits, however, we get it at an okay price, $12.48. It's not setting the world alight, but it's early access. Fairly positive from what I'm understanding. No major bugs. Overall, the community, and I'm judging this purely on the recommended, the ones who have actually got a reasonable amount of hours. Most of them liken it to kind of like Destruction Derby, which is actually kind of cool. I used to love Destruction Derby, actually, on the PS1. Especially number 2. I actually had a demo. I had a demo when I was a kid, and I used to make it like a game with my friends to see who could basically screw the car up with everything else on the track. So basically do as much damage to the opposing cars and then try and destroy them all with your car still around. It's kind of cool. Little mini game. You know how you do that when you're a kid. Anyway, next. What are we on? Left 4 Dead, $4.99. That's dollars. If you are paying in pounds, you're going to be paying a pretty reasonable price. Not exactly setting the world alight, but $3.74. Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, by the way. How can I put this? Playing public can be fun, but it really comes into its own if you're playing with Bob and Tom. In other words, if you're playing with friends. If you're playing with friends, this game is amazing. If you're not, if you're playing public, it can be kind of cool. Single player, you're probably going to want to spend your money on other things. It's an amazing experience, but I would recommend it, to be totally honest, if you can buy it for someone else as well. Like, buy it for a couple of friends, really enjoy it, get a good experience out of it, and it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Where are we up to? State of Decay. So this sucker is electrical, and it's going to generate 1.0. It's $4.99. That's dollars, and if you're paying in pounds, it's going to cost you not bad, $3.74. So I can honestly say not really massively into the idea of it, but it's pretty simple. It's basically yet another zombie outbreak type of thing. It's a third-person action game, a dynamic world, blah blah blah. It scores really well with curators, I'm sorry. Pretty decent reviews, pretty good community scores as well. Not really something I've been particularly interested in. Check it out if you want. You know, it could be what'll be worth it. What other games? I think I've covered all of them aside from one, and that is Batman. Now, they've got all of the Batman Arkham games available, as it turns out. So that's Arkham Origins and City and Asylum. So that'd be free. They're all 75% off, which means all of them are $4.99 if you're paying in dollars, or if you're paying in pounds, all $3.74. Amata is also feeling extremely guilty for recommending to one of our viewers to buy this game when it was 50% off, and now the next day it's gone to 75% off, so she apologises for that. But anyway, it's gone to 75% off. Not that it really makes a difference. It's like, what, £1? Something like that. I actually think it might have been 60% off. I don't remember. I don't remember if she said 50 or 60% off. But anyway. This is actually a bit weird, but I personally, and this is my own personal opinion, I'm still yet to complete Origins. It's not because Origins is crap, I just dislike it in comparison to City and Asylum. Personally, I've told this story once, and I'll say it a million times. I played Asylum once when I was really sick. I was getting absolutely ravaged to shit by the flu. I was really ill. I was ill for like 2 weeks with this bloody flu. And honestly, I'd actually avoided Arkham Asylum deliberately. I honestly had. I was like, you know what? I'm not looking forward to this. It's going to be cheesy. It's not going to work well. I'm just, nah. And then what did it is I was looking at a couple of forums and I saw some photos of people in the thread and they were really enjoying it. And it had already been out for like a month or something like that. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try it. So I did. And it literally was what salvaged my happiness. And funnily enough, and I kid you not, just completely and utter coinkydink, I happened to get ill exactly the same time that City came out. I literally had, I don't think it was quite as bad. I think I only had like a cold. I'm someone that doesn't really get ill much, but it happens to just coincide. And so once again, Arkham City happened to basically just entertain me while I was ill. And it was really frustrating dying because when you're in the middle of sneezing fits and you're trying to like fight a boss and sneeze, oh, I'm dead because I wasn't able to counter. But it was amazingly fun. I loved the characters. There were some problems with the combat. Primarily, bosses were a bit shit. Boss battles in Asylum in particular, the end boss, but just generally it was very much rinse and repeat. But the actual nature, the voice acting, the gadgets, everything about it, the world, I would encourage you to pick it up personally. Anyway, what we're going to be doing now is going through the, what are they? They haven't actually listed, but basically the daily deals. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a lot and it's going to take me too long. Instead, what I'm going to do is just go through the ones that I personally would recommend. There's actually quite a lot of deals for today. Grid, yeah, good game, $6.49. If you're interested in a racing title, you might as well. Darksiders 2, $3.74. These are all dollar prices. Astounding title, really fun. If I remember correctly, he says, checking, they've also got the original Darksiders as well. You can get like the franchise pack for 85% off, which is really good. And you can actually get the original, you can get Darksiders 2 for like $4.49, or you can get Darksiders 1 for like $2.99. Really worth checking out. Honestly, do recommend. I'll recommend very much. The Banner Saga. Another title that I actually really enjoyed. Covered it on the channel. Got a review code from Stoic. $4.99 if you're paying in dollars. Very fun. It's actually by the guys who originally worked for BioWare, and what they've basically created is this Viking saga, and you have to basically make strategic choices as you're going through the game. Really recommend the title. It's really fun. If you're interested in like a strategy type of game, and you're interested in actually something a little bit different rather than traditional medieval stuff, and something where the storyline's really going to alter depending on your choices, definitely pick it up. It's a beautiful work of art as well. Like, the art style in that game is amazing. Really like it. Sleeping Dogs, the definitive edition. Basically, it's an upgrade of the original Sleeping Dogs, and I actually really like Sleeping Dogs. It's $10.19. Well worth checking out. Well worth checking out. Personally, I really enjoyed this game. It can be unfair. It could be unfairly criticised or called GTA 5. Or GTA clone. But that's not really true. It's really Asian in influence. It looks beautiful going through like the various cities and the districts and seeing the neon lights. It looks amazing, especially the definitive edition. Well worth checking out. One last little thing. The combat can be a little bit frustrating. It can be the typical problem of games with counters, and that counters are too strong. But I really like this game, I must say. I've covered it some on the channel anyway, so if you want to check it out, it's basically way back. I covered the original. I haven't bothered the definitive edition, but I did cover the original. Anyway, finally, Mortal Kombat Complete Edition. It's pretty cool. There's netcode issues that are in the game. They're not awful, you know, they're not bad, but there are netcode issues. I would personally recommend checking out the game if you're interested in a fighting game. There's not that many fighting games on PC. It does have a few problems. Combat can appear a bit stiff, but I quite like it. It's gory and bloody, and to be honest, even if you're interested in just a single player, there's quite a bit of content in here anyway. So yeah, go check it out. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I think. I don't think there's anything we're missing. Is there? Let me just check. I'm just going through the list real quick. No. I don't see anything else. I think we've covered everything that I know anyway. And so yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully you found it somewhat informative, my good friend. Anyway, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.